Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. It is the FA Cup weekend, the fourth round, and we're here at Leyton Orient, the sixth in League One. We've not been here since 1966. There's an apartment block on every corner of the stadium, and of course I'll be joined pitchside by the man himself, Michael Brown, and for the first time on Matchday Live, a very special guest. I'll give you a clue. Let's head to the studio.
Good morning, thank you so much to FG. Welcome to Matchday Live. And there is, I like to call him Sir Mike Summerby, always arriving at Brisbane Road. And our Mike played in the last game that City took on against Leyton Orient all the way back in 1966. He's still looking fresh, is our Mike. And there you can see Pep Guardiola and the team arriving. I'm going to give you the team news the second that I'm allowed, but you know that I always like to bend the rules a bit. And so I'm going to tell you that we do have 2 debuts today in the team. 2 debuts. So that is a very, very exciting. You can see there's John Stones arriving. Nico O'Reilly, who of course scored and played in the last round against Salford as well. And there is the new Nico just going in. Is he one of the 2 debuts today? Well, yeah, he has to be. So there's another little tip for you. I am probably going to get in trouble for that. There is Vitor Hayes arriving, and of course Mateus Nunes as well. And it is FA Cup weekend, a big, big weekend. Going across 5 days, of course. The round started yesterday and it goes on until Tuesday in the way that they like to stretch the FA Cup. 16 games, all looking to get through to the next round. So here it is. Here is your team news for today's FA Cup against Leyton Orient, 12:15 kickoff. And you can see there immediately, I bet you're excited about some of those names. So it is in goal, Ortega Moreno. And then it is Lewis and a debut. Welcome to Manchester for Vitor Hayes. And then it is Ruben Diaz is back. He is captain today, and it's also a big occasion for him. It's his 200th Manchester City appearance today. And then it's Nico Riley, and then a debut for Nico. Very, very excited to see him and to see what he's going to do today. And then it is Gundogan, McAtee, of course, hat-trick hero from the last round, Savinho, Grealish, and Marmoush. So that is your starting 11. You can see the subs there as well. Carson Stones, De Bruyne, Bernardo Akanji, Nunes, Kushanov, Foden and Mumbama. So a few of the players, of course, rested. Names that you will regularly know, not in the squad today. So they'll be getting a rest. And we are very, very excited by that starting 11 that we have today. And as always, I am very, very excited to welcome in our guests today. We have 2 of our wonderful 99 legends in the studio. I'm so excited to have them with us today. It's Nicky Weaver and Paul Dickov.
Good morning.
How are you both?
I'm very well, thank you. Looking forward to the game today, as always.
Always, and I imagine you're super positive.
Always, yeah.
Good. Nick, feeling positive?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no reason not to be.
Good. Right, let's get into the team news. Let's get into that exciting team news because 2 debuts today. So immediately, he's straight to Manchester, straight in the starting 11. A big welcome to Nico. How excited are you by this signing?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. You know, seeing clips of him, obviously in Portugal. Know we've been crying out for a defensive midfielder as such since Rodri's been out. I think it's important we don't try and compare him to Rodri because there's no other player out there like him, but he's a super talent and great to see him. Great to see Vitor Hayes in the team as well.
Very nice. I've been way on these pronunciations all week, so I believe it is Hayes is the pronunciation. But, you know, Ali Man will surely tell us all the truth in the commentary. That's what I would go for.
I'm looking forward to seeing him though, because when I obviously chuck a trophy tour in there when I was out in Brazil. We done, I think, with ESPN and Rogério Von, who's the famous Brazilian commentator who does the goal. So when I spoke to him, messaged him, we signed Vitor, and he made a big bold statement. He said he's possibly could be the best Brazilian defender ever to come out of Brazil. He said at such a young age. And he said he was the best player in the Brazilian league at 18 years old this season. He said he's got a fantastic mentality. Physically, he might need a bit of time to adjust. He said, but the potential there is really exciting. So looking forward to see how he does today.
That is a big, exciting statement. And I love the fact that his youth, and Nico's youth, all of the players that we signed in the window, they're not just players, obviously they go straight into starting 11 today with Nico, but they're also players for the future, Nick.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot's been thrown at City this year about that, you know, they've lost a lot of legs in the team. The signings they've made They're all young, dynamic players, athletic players, which I think is what the squad needed. So it's exciting times. Like I say, it's not just for now, it's for a longer time. And listen, when City have signed younger players in recent years, they've all gone on to be really successful. So let's hope these 4 can be as well, and I'm sure they will. And really excited to see them play, particularly 2 debutants today.
2 debutants. Very, very excited. If you weren't already excited by the FA Cup weekend, that just adds a little bit of extra element to it. So let's have a quick chat about Nico, Paul, because you mentioned there the importance of not comparing him to Rodri. I've done a lot of reading about him this week, looked at a lot of his stats, looked at his highlights, and it is key to sort of say, don't expect another Rodri. Of course, the biggest shoes in the world to fill anyway. But I feel like from reading about him, from learning about him this week, when Rodri's fit, ideally it looks like they're players that would play together.
It is, and he's a player that can also play one forward. He can play as an 8, play alongside with Rodri. But it's important that we fill that gap from now to the end of the season, because he can play there. Look, he's come through the Barcelona academy. I think I seen somewhere that the club have been watching him since he's been 14, all the way through. So it's not like it's not a signing that they've panicked for, and they've obviously know about him, they know about his background. I think his dad was here as well.
Yeah, 2 years he spent as a coach,
Yeah, so they obviously know, like, due diligence that the club always do in the recruitment, and like Nicky said, he said we've got a recent history of signing young players that went on to be absolute superstars, so let's hope he's going to be one of them as well. Yeah,
as soon as you read that he's gone through La Masia, your eyebrows raise immediately, Nick.
Yeah, and also it's not a stopgap signing to replace Rodri here and now. As Dicky said, he can play one up. Pep said in his press conference yesterday, he can play the 6, he can play the 8. So yeah, it's someone for now, definitely, but also for the future as well. And hopefully Rodri's back, possibly before the end of the season, we don't know. But yeah, I'm sure Pep will have done it so they can play together, certainly.
It'll be a bit of a test for them today as well, because obviously they're coming to No Man City, Etihad Stadium, Premier League grounds, so from a mentality point of view, getting their head round Brisbane Road.
The cup competitions in the continent aren't the same as they are. It's the magic of the FA Cup. Going to Brisbane Road, it'll be completely different to going to the likes of the Etihad and Anfield and all these places. So yeah, it'll be a real test today.
I love that. It's a proper welcome to English football.
It is, and look, I think the FA Cup's the best cup, the history behind it. Every round you see in the earlier rounds, there's always a shock somewhere along the line, and the smaller clubs, they cling on to that as well. And
it's like when you see Tamworth, isn't it, against Tottenham,
yeah.
And these are especially when you get the big teams away, and everyone wants to see an upset. That's why there's been so much hype about it this week. So yeah, it'd be a really interesting game.
I'll take a big upset, but I'll take that at Doncaster, please.
Oh, yeah, not today.
Not today. Thank you very much. OK, let's look at the lineup then. As we do, let's play my favourite game, who's playing where. So if we're looking in defence, we're guessing... so Nico O'Reilly, obviously he's generally a midfielder, but in the Salford game, he played more as a left-back that stepped into the middle, Paul. So are we expecting... Do you think that that's what we're looking at again today? So Lewis, Hayes, Diaz... O'Reilly?
I think so. I think if you look at the personnel that's there, and I thought Nico O'Reilly, we've got to be careful of the 2 Nicos in the team, haven't we? We can't say them together.
And Nick talking about 2 Nicos.
Yeah,
I'm definitely Nick, not a Nico.
Yeah. But it was fantastic considering they'd not played that position before. Shows his versatility. That was a great finish, great moment from there as well. And look, he's such a talented footballer. Got a great footballing brain. So I don't think him playing left back or maybe as a winger or tucking in won't be strange to him.
No, it was brilliant against Salford, and I know it's only Salford, but it was fantastic. I was at the game, but he's got a profile of a modern day player, really athletic, can play numerous positions. I think he's a midfielder by trade, but he might end up on the left side or the right side. But yeah, real prospect. Had a great pre-season, and he's got another chance there. I'm sure he'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, again, much like the Salford game, when you look at it, there's only a handful of natural defenders in that team, so we're guessing that. But I think for Vitor Hayes to be coming in for his debut, to be playing alongside Ruben Diaz, 200 games, his 200th game for City today, that has gone fast as well. I think that's extra reassuring for him.
It is, and I remember doing Matchday Live and we signed Ruben.
Yes.
And we were all scrolling through the internet talking about players that come in that maybe not come in as superstars. But I love him, the team. He loves defending. He's such a strong character. He's a leader. And he makes people around him defend better. I know we talk about Kevin sometimes, and the team, he makes players better with the ball. But Ruben, with his leadership skills, makes everybody around him want to defend better. And it'll be great for Vitor to have Ruben alongside him today.
And he's almost like the Vincent Kompany, isn't he, of the 20s, if you like. Like Dicky says, he wants to defend. He organises, he demands of others. He'll be talking Heesh all the time. So yeah, great to make your debut alongside someone who's making the 200th game.
I think we're speaking the same language as well. Will be a massive help for the youngsters there.
Yeah, absolutely. So then if we move up into midfield, we'll have Nico, Gundogan and McAtee in the middle.
Maybe.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Yeah, it could be. But McAtee, he could play as the false 9, or Omar could drop into the 10. There's Jack can play there as well.
Yeah, and whatever starts might not necessarily stay there as well. They can, interchange, and in terms of attacking, they've got so much quality going forward. They'll see lots of the ball, and it's about creating them chances. And but interesting to see who plays the false 9. I think it'll be Mamouche, but because I think he can play anywhere across the front three. And yeah, he's been terrific since he come in. Looks a real dynamic player. But yeah, we'll look at the goals here. McAtee against Salford with his hat-trick.
That's a wonderful finish.
That's a day he'll never forget.
Of course, getting a hat-trick in that game, Paul, I'm sure that he'll remember that coming into this game and want to do it again.
Of course he will, and it's a big chance for him. Like talking about Nico O'Reilly, it's the FA Cup, it's live on TV. He's been great, James. If he started or he's come off the bench, he's always had an impact, and it was great to see him get. He's such a great kid off the pitch, but technically wise, he's fantastic. He picks up little pockets. As we see here, he's got a great eye for the goal. So, but it'll be interesting whether who does play as the 9 and who plays as the 10, or do they just swap between as the game's going on?
I think with McAtee as well, I'm sure there were plenty of clubs in for him.
Yeah.
Loan, possibly talk of a permanent in the window. Obviously, Pep wants to keep him around. And it's an opportunity for him today, and if he does well today, stake a claim for some of the so-called bigger games.
It's a big call, and I think James deserves a lot of credit, because the clubs, the hierarchy and Pep, they've always, if youngsters want to leave, they've never stood in their way. So James is obviously, Pep's told me he wants to stay, and he obviously wants to stay and really have a strong run to the end of the season, because as Nicky said, there was rumours, no doubt there would have been clubs in from permanently offering a lot of money for somebody his age. But he's shown that he wants to stay here and really prove himself, so huge credit to him.
Yeah, and I love the reaction there to everybody when he gets his hat-trick there as well. Similar for Nico O'Reilly as well. Of course, the internet rumours for both of them over the January transfer window. I was really glad when the window shut and to see both of them in the starting 11 today. Also, another great, we see him there, Jack Grealish with the assist there to McAtee. Hopefully we'll see that again today, because we've not seen a lot of Jack lately. So again, a more experienced player, but still, great opportunity for him to start today.
It is. Look, I'm a huge fan of Jack. I think everybody knows that. And he was outstanding as they all were against Salford. I feel for Jack a little bit, because he has big moments. And I'll even go back to the Madrid game away, where he came on and he gets the shot cleared off the line. If that goes in, he's an absolute hero. Big moments. Old Trafford, when he scores the header to put his 1-0 up, you think, there we go, and going to be an iconic moment. Jack scoring the win on the derby. Then they came back. PSG a couple of weeks ago, he comes off the bench, gets an assist, gets his goal, and you think, here we go. So I think he's been slightly unlucky in the big moments, but great to see him out there. He's a fantastic talent and a great character as well.
Yeah. Character always is the importance, and it's so adored by the fans as well, always, regardless. So then we got Grealish, and then obviously Savio and Marmouche. Now, both players, since Savio came to the club in the summer, have been so excited. Now we've got Omar Marmouche as well. We've seen him, a glimpse of him in the last 2 games of how exciting he can be as well. For me, Nick, I cannot wait to see what those two are going to do and how they're going to link up together. Yeah,
I think he's a real Pep player, real dynamic Marmouche. Real turn of pace. I think he'll add lots of goals to his game as well. Obviously, he's still in his settling-in period. But yeah, the signings they've made are certainly exciting. And you mentioned Savinho there. He's been brilliant since started off great. Had a little bit of a dip, but the last couple of months he's been absolutely brilliant. And I like how he goes. Obviously, he's predominantly left-footed, but he will go on his right foot and cut back. So as a defender, must be a nightmare to play against. Chipped in with a few important goals as well. So yeah, as I said earlier, going forward today, they've got lots and lots of talent.
What have you made so far that you've seen of the 2 games of Omar Marmouche?
Yeah, I like the look of him a lot. I like the fact that he wants to run in behind as well. And I think Nicky's saying once the players in the team get to know him. I think we've done the game last week, and there was times he's making runs, he's coming in short, he's spinning in behind, and he wants to stretch teams as well. And I think once the players around him get the connection and work out his movement, because he never stands still. He's always looking for the ball, but then when the defenders come in, he's spinning in behind, which is something we've not really had for a few years as a centre forward or a forward player apart from Erling that's going to stretch teams.
I think as well, obviously a lot of teams now in Premier League, they want to squeeze the pitch, they want to play high. So for someone who wants to run in behind and the players that can find him, there's going to be space there for him to exploit. So I think he's a good signing, a really exciting signing.
Really exciting team today. I was really looking forward to this. I always loved the FA Cup, but now looking at that, cannot wait to see what the debutants are going to do and get to see more of Omar Mamouche as well and some of the players that we've not seen in a little while. So very exciting. So 12:15 kick-off today in the FA Cup. Of course, as always, you will get full match commentary on the Manchester City app with Alistair Mann and with Michael Brown. And Michael Brown is already there at Brisbane Road, waiting to go. He's pitchside right now with FG.
Hello and welcome to Leyton Orient. This is the FA Cup fourth round weekend. We've not been here since 1966, but a man who travels all around the country and is on Matchday Live every single week is Mr. Michael Brown. Brownie, we've just seen the City team, and where better to start than the two players making their debut?
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity. I think that's what it's about, isn't it? Nico's coming in the middle of the pitch. I think that's an exciting signing for everybody. It's an area as well that you know we've been a little bit light. Obviously no Rodri for a long period of time, but this is going to be a little bit of a leveller, a different game, and then another young centre-back coming in. So, I mean, the opportunity's there. You've got to take the ball. Nico O'Reilly maybe playing at left back, Rico Lewis at right back, Ruben Diaz coming in, so you've got that experience. So for that young back four, having Ruben Diaz is very, very important.
Yeah, we know how important Ruben Diaz is to us. Him being back in the team is so important, especially with the fixtures that are coming up. Of course, Real Madrid next as well.
Yeah, I mean, what a next few weeks of football. I mean, the FA Cup is exciting. We want to progress. We want to look at it. But as well, you know, this is a game against a side you should go on and win. They're making a couple of changes as well, Leyton Orient. But you know, when you talk about Real Madrid, Newcastle, Real Madrid. But if you ask the manager, Pep Guardiola, what he will say is, this is the most important game in that dressing room. Forget what's coming our way next. But it's exciting times. It's a massive month of football. We're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a credit to the Manchester City Academy games like this as well, because we mentioned Nico O'Reilly. We expect him probably to play in that similar sort of role than what he did against Salford. Rico Lewis on the other side, and then James McAtee as well to add to a little bit more excitement.
Well, I think you've seen against Salford what James McAtee has. He came on again last weekend. He's had that experience now, hasn't he, with Sheffield United, growing into the role. I mean, the ability that he's got. I mean, you just keep smiling, you keep laughing at me, don't you? Because you know how much I rate him. And I think he's got everything. I think the next part of his game is out of possession. He's still got those recovery runs to get a little bit better on, but the talent, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a goal today.
Now, when you're looking at the surroundings here, of course, if you look behind us, the away section will be in the corner behind us. Then there's apartment blocks in every corner. We're super close to the fans here as well. Pep's getting an interview, which is why everyone's crowding round. This atmosphere is great, and it's a real cup tie, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive cup tie. I was just speaking to Richie Wellens, the manager, before. He said they sell out. The support's fantastic. They're still growing. But that's what you want, the excitement there now. As soon as the team pull up, you can see everyone gathering, waiting for a glimpse of the superstars that Manchester City have. So it's a really, really interesting game. The FA Cup is special to me, special to lots of supporters right throughout the country, and it's going to be a really good game. I mean, but you look as well for City, Mamouche, is he going to play the 9 rather than the wider positions or supporting Erling Haaland? I want to see how he gets on in that position also. So, great choice. Jack Grealish as well. So we can talk so much about the team. And now we'll sort of get ready for it. I think I really expect a positive performance.
Now, before we head back to the studio, let's talk about your FA Cup memories in a Manchester City shirt. There's one that's shouting out to me, a special game. At White Hart Lane. I mean, what was that like for you, Brownie?
Oh, yeah, excellent game. Really enjoyed it. It was a 7-goal thriller. There was a sending off. Anything else you got to remember? Do you remember the score? Joey Barton, was it?
Joey Barton, yeah.
Joey Barton at half-time. I'd done my job, wound him up. But unfortunately, I wasn't in a blue shirt, FG. Yep. I was in a white shirt for Tottenham Hotspur. And to lose with 10 men, thank you very much. You've mentioned it so many times on this show. Yes, we lost 4-3. The City scored 4 goals with 10 men. I've never forgotten it. Yes, that's one of those. But thank you for reminding me. I was having a nice day until then. And I'm sure the studio will have a little giggle there, won't
Yeah, we'll head back straight to the studio, shall we? I know the guys will be laughing as well.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's not like us to continually use jokes over and over again at our guest's expense, is it? Thank you very much to Michael Brown and to FG. So let's have a look now at the starting 11 for Leyton Orient. You can see there it is on your screen. So in goal it is Keeley, and then it is Galbraith, James, captain Happy, Simpson, Curry, Brown, Perkins, Donnelly, Jason and Kelman. And the substitutes are on your bench. One name for you there is Pratley. He is 39 years old. Love that. I could basically still be playing. Thank you there. That is the Leyton Orient starting 11 for today. So that is 5 changes for them from the team that was defeated in their last game to Stockport County 1-0. So 5 changes to that team. Now, for those of you that don't regularly follow League One football, don't worry, we have you covered here. So Leyton Orient currently sitting 6th in League One. So that is, of course, into the playoff positions. They'd been on a brilliant run until they came up against, of course, Stockport County, who are 4th currently in the league. But not to worry, because as well, we have 2 guys that can tell us all about League One and Leyton Orient. Specifically, I'm going to look at you, Mr. Dickov, because you are friendly with the manager of Leyton Orient.
I am. Richie Wellens, my ex-teammate at Leicester, my second spell, and then when I became Doncaster manager, I signed Richie as a player as well. So, great lad, fantastic footballing brain, was a really good player. Could be a little bit mischievous at times, and that's coming from me. He used to test me massively when I was managing because we were mates.
What do you mean?
He used to push me to the limit. He was my best player at Doncaster, and he knew he was my best player as well. And obviously we had a close relationship, and it was at times it was actually, all joking apart, it was quite difficult for me because obviously I've got to take myself away from being his mate and being the manager, and he thought it was quite funny sometimes to try and test me a little bit. But I got my own back. But he's done a super job there. He had a tough time at Oldham and Doncaster when he was managing there. Done a good job, but the owners were really poor with him, and he's swindling in between, and then he's went to Leyton Orient, where he says himself the owners are great people. They're allowing him to do his job. Got the promotion, had a tough start to the season, but I think they played 4 out of the top 6 in the first 6 games. But since then they've been on an unbelievable run until that result at Stockport. But I'm delighted for him because he's a good lad, deserves to do well.
And you spoke to him earlier this week, so a little bit later on we are going to be hearing Paul's interview with Richie Wellens. Something I read about him this week, though, Paul, is it true that he is a lifelong Manchester United fan?
Unfortunately, yes. Came through the academy there. He'll probably admit himself that he had a great career, but maybe should have pushed himself a little bit more. He's still got good links with United, and I think Ethan Galbraith, he signed him at Doncaster on loan from United, and now he's took him down there. So, apart from being a United fan, he's a good lad.
Well, nobody's perfect, hey? Nobody. Leyton Orient has a link for yourself as well, Nick.
Yeah, I was thinking on the way over this morning, I've only played at Brisbane Road once. It was for Sheffield Wednesday, and we lost. It was either 4-0 or 4-1, and I didn't realise till probably 4 or 5 years after that Harry Kane scored 2 goals, and they were his first ever goals in league football. So I weren't aware of that at the time.
So he's got a lot to give you credit for his career.
Absolutely,
then,
yeah. I mean, we've just been through the goals in there, and I don't think there's anything I could have done about them. Yeah, but I suppose it's nice to tell my kids that Harry Kane scored past me.
That's such a brilliant... It's like...
It was years after him.
Yeah.
Someone said, you do know that Harry Kane scored his first goals past you? I'm like, who for? He's like, Leyton Orient. I went... Anyway, it was on loan there from Tottenham, and he's not done bad since, has he? No.
Sometimes the look we have on this show, you'd think that there was immense planning that went into working out who we were going to invite today. I love that link. Well, Harry Kane. He's gone on to have an all right career, hasn't he? OK, in terms of Leyton Orient and the team, Paul, what can you tell us? Who should we be looking out for today?
I think Ethan Galbraith's the one. I know we're going to show the interview with Richie. Richie's somebody that they could have sold in the transfer window for quite a lot of money. Richie, to be fair to him, said the owners were amazing with him. He said they got the offer in, and which was big money for Leyton Orient. He said, but the owners leave the football side up to Richie. Richie wanted to keep him, and fair play to Leyton Orient. You know, they've allowed them to do it. Because a lot of clubs at that level, Nicky, they would have took the money, wouldn't they?
It's quite refreshing, isn't it, to see a manager having a bit of control. And listen, if he goes on to have as good a second half of the season as he has first half, they'll get more money for him in the summer. So it is one to watch, and like I say, may go in the summer. But yeah, quite refreshing to see the manager having a bit of control.
He's a player Richie's known for a long time, because Richie's son Charlie came through the academy at United, so Richie's known him since he's been 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and obviously kept tracking him, and he's reaping the rewards for now, because he's a good player.
He was on loan at Salford, wasn't he?
Salford, and Richie took him to Doncaster when he was Doncaster manager as well, so Richie rates him really highly, which for Richie's standards, that's a big, big compliment.
I remember I covered Salford a lot a few years ago when I was just starting up in reporting, working, and I remember him. He was an absolute standout in that team and standout in that league as well. In terms of other players that they have as well, Charlie Kellman, a striker who's on loan from QPR, USA international, scored a bucketful this season.
He has, and you know, he likes working with younger players, technical players, and he did say it might be slightly different today, playing against Man City, because he wants his team to be possession-based. He likes to keep the ball, as Richie did as a player, progressive going forward. But he's made 5 changes today, and I think he's brought in a few younger players, because the one thing he's going to need is fit players out there as well, you know. And these big FA Cup games, you never see players getting cramp or anything else, but the whole build-up for these players today, it's going to be difficult with them without the ball for them today. So I think he's went for a lot more youngsters and a lot of energy in his team, because they're going to need it.
Absolutely. I don't think they're going to have a lot of the ball, are they? So they're going to have to do a lot of running, and it is a running game these days. So I think they've done well in the loan market. They've got 5 loans this year that have done really well for them. So yeah, it's certainly a young man's game and a running game, and I'm sure the Leyton Orient players will do plenty of running today.
Now, there's one player I want to get your thoughts on as well, Nick, because the goalkeeper, Josh Keeley, he's on loan at Leyton Orient from Spurs, and he scored in the second round versus Oldham.
Yeah, it's a great header as well. Wide free kick coming, and it's more of a glancing header, so it's not where he's just sort of closed his eyes and, you know, hope for the best. He's sort of guided it into that far corner. So yeah, he's on loan from Tottenham. He's been part of the team when they've had this really good run up until last week. Tottenham have got high hopes for him, and yeah, he's playing his trade in League One and doing well. And yeah, to find himself on the score sheet will make him an instant hero with the fans. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does today, because he's certainly, you would imagine, going to be the busier of the 2 goalkeepers. He
scored in the 99th minute in that game to equalise, and then they went on to win in the 120th.
That's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it?
It really is the magic and the heartbreak for Oldham. And one of our producers that works on the show is an Oldham fan, and I imagine he's currently crying in his hands as we re-talk about the fact about how close Oldham got to getting through there as well. He's crying in the studio. Sorry, Thomas Berry. But in terms of a goalkeeper scoring, that is, you say, the magic of the FA Cup, Paul. That is the stories that we love.
It is, and every round seems to bring up a different story, a different name, getting these players in the spotlight as well. And did you ever go up for a corner, mate?
I went up for a few. The last time I did, ended up on a stretcher and I had 8 stitches in my head. So yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was last minute of a game. I was playing Sheffield Wednesday.
So you didn't score then, no?
And it was in front of the Cop, and the ball's come across, and I'd already scored in my own head, and I've gone to edit next minute. I was in the physio room getting some stitches in my head, so yeah. That was the last time I went up, I thought. And it was a long way back as well, when I was getting older.
Oh, Lord! Did you know about that when you said that there?
I hadn't seen it before, so I thought I'd get it in there.
Love that. We're getting some cracking stories today.
We had a young goalkeeper on the bench that day, and he's at Blackpool now, a guy called Richard O'Donnell, and he came on for the last 30 seconds of the game, and it was last game of the season, and he was absolutely buzzing, because I think it was his 10th game for the club, and he got a wage increase after 10 games. So I'm sort of laid there in the physio room like this, getting stitches in me, and these Paris chairs we've just paid for my holidays. So he always talks about that when I see him. So yeah, but again, FA Cup day today, and let's hope Leyton Orient player doesn't create massive memories, but let's hope it's a comfortable win for City.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please. A nice afternoon for us all. So for Leyton Orient, this is obviously a very glamorous tie for them. But there's often glamour down at Brisbane Road because they do have a certain celebrity fan. And no shock, FG spotted Eddie Hearn pitchside and immediately jumped in for a selfie. So if that's not already on FG's Instagram page, it will be within about the next 5 minutes, I would guess.
I'll be on there already.
It will be, right?
Absolutely. absolutely, yeah.
He'll have paused whatever he was filming to put that up.
Yeah.
I'm immediately going to check. And they've actually, Brownie and FG have managed to speak to Eddie Hearn. They're currently speaking to him, so we'll be playing that for you a little bit later. God, sometimes I'm jealous of FG, you know. Sometimes I am. Rather be here with Paul and Nick than with Eddie Hearn. Right, you spoke, we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Paul knows today's opponent's manager very, very well. So earlier this week, Paul caught up with Richie Wellens.
Probably this would be Man City v Leyton Orient in League One if it wasn't for you 20-odd years ago.
Thanks for joining us today ahead of the big game at the weekend. I'm sure you've had a pretty quiet week, haven't you, with everything that's been going on?
It's been a bit different. Usually we get one press guy. We had 20 the other day, and then we've got the tickets for the press at weekend. Usually we have around 20 for both clubs, and I think it's up to 150 now. So just shows you how big Man City is, doesn't it, Dicky?
It does, mate, it does. How's it been for you this week with the players? Obviously, the press and that aside. Have you changed anything different?
I mean, I keep asking the question, you know, is it a good time to play Man City? Because obviously, and it's like, well, okay, great. But when we watch City at the moment, they're also playing Arsenal, they're playing Liverpool, they're playing PSG. And you can see certain things that you maybe might, but have we got the players to capitalise on that? We don't know. We're not going to have most of the ball. So whereas I try and obviously we press, and in our league we press and we have to defend our box, but the majority of my work is in possession and working how we can move the ball and cause the opposition problems.
And I can only relate to this game for you is when I was manager at Oldham, we played Liverpool, and I thought we just ended up playing five-a-sides all week, so I thought I don't want to get into their heads too much.
If we sit back early on and let them get in a rhythm, it's going to be easy, it's going to be a long afternoon. And I've played in them games where they're not enjoyable. Everybody says, oh, you've got them, they're not enjoyable. You just chase the ball, you don't feel like you've joined in, and it becomes difficult. We're going to do a few things, but the players have had to just buy into it. We've asked the players, are you comfortable in doing this? And they've all said yes, because what I don't want them to do is do certain things and they're not comfortable, and they feel a little bit like, hang on a minute, we're playing against top players. So we tried to get a balance right.
Your standards were really high as a player. I know through managing you could get frustrated with people that couldn't do the stuff that you were doing or weren't at the level you were at. How have you found that?
No, it's a great question, but I always think back as well is, you know, you managed me when I was later in my career. A lot of them frustrations was myself as well, because I couldn't do what I could do when I was 28, you know, and I could maybe want the team to play the way that I wanted to play, which might have made me look better, but the detriment to the team. So I also learned in the last 3-4 years of my career about what not to do. Yeah. Both as a player and what the manager wants and what I was giving him. So I learned a lot from that.
What a platform for your players on Saturday, live on TV. And I've said it loads. I said it was a player and I was a manager, and I say it now. These FA Cup games, they can sometimes define players' careers going forward, can't they?
100%. And we have, I think the average age of our team on Saturday will be around 22, 23. We've got someone like Ethan Galbraith. We rejected £1 million for Ethan Galbraith from Swansea on deadline day. I want to be careful that he doesn't pass the players by. Yeah. We tried to get, you know, you'll have been there, Dickie. It's like, how many tickets we get in? And I've got these people coming, I've got this happening.
It's a huge distraction, isn't it?
100%. It's a distraction, and then you never get cramp. In a league game, you never get cramp throughout the season. But these, you get cramp. Player finals, all that kind of stuff. When you get cramp, and it's not the physical side of it, it's all the distractions that are built up in the week. And actually, you can come to 3 o'clock on Saturday and the game's gone. You've gone, what's happened? I didn't really join in. I didn't really try and influence the game. So we've got all that rubbish sorted out early on in the week. The players now in the next 2-3 days are just focused on the game.
I hope you go out there, mate, and you give City a right good game and get a bit of good publicity for yourself as well. But seriously, all the very best for the end of the season, mate, and let's hope you can push on keeping the playoffs. A pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure to speak to you. And probably this would be Man City v Leyton Orient in League One if it wasn't for you 20-odd years ago. So I owe it all to you.
Oh, he's bang on right there, as well as our Richie Wellens. Paul, that was lovely to chat to and catch up with Richie Wellens there. You can see his Leyton Orient team warming up there ahead of the 12:15 kick-off. So half an hour until the kick-off today in the FA Cup. It is FA Cup 4th round weekend, 16 games taking place over 5 days. The game at Brisbane Road today, and you will get your full match commentary on the City app with Alistair Mann and with Michael Brown as well. Really interesting to hear him talking about the distractions there, Paul, because it's not something that as a fan I would ever consider.
It is, and it's a huge distraction in big games, isn't it? And he was actually more worried about that side of it than he is the football side of it, because, you know, these players, he'd be saying they probably get 2 or 3 comps might get 1 or 2 phone calls during the week, but since the draw's been made, they've been all the time. And you know, the one thing that the players, when they're going home, they'll be thinking about this cup tie, they'll have tickets, and it's so true what you said about the cramp thing. You never see these players getting cramp in league games, but the build-up and
all the nervous energy,
energy, and the mental fatigue it gives you as well. So he was saying he tried to get that out as early in the week so he can have 3-4 days leading into the game so they can just concentrate on the football.
Really interesting, yeah. I imagine they've been getting badgered rotten for tickets to watch at Manchester City. Now, we've got a little bit of fun for you on today's FA Cup weekend. So, you'll all know there's a very famous sculpture in the USA called Mount Rushmore, and it's the 4 heads of 4 former presidents carved out in rock. Well, we decided that we would do our own Manchester City Mount Rushmore, and we want to know which City players from the last 4 decades you would pick to be in your very own Mount Rushmore. So, you've both had a look, you've both had a selection of yours. So, Nick, let's have a look at your... This is so much fun. Look! The graphics team have done it and everything. This is not real. We didn't really go out to a mountain and carve it. Nick, talk us through yours.
Yeah, well, I got asked the question before I knew I was coming on with Dicky. So if I'd have known, I may have well gone for Dicky.
He's just saying that now.
But I just... So the first one's the 90s. I've gone for Uwe Rosler, just because when I think of City in the 90s, it's the light blue kit, Brother, King Clancy, Rosler, now Quinn, Oasis. And I always remember my first day at City, walking in, sort of a young lad, bit starstruck, and one of the first person I saw was Uwe Rosler. And I'm thinking, that's Uwe Rosler, that's Uwe Rosler. Someone I'd just been watching on telly. And yeah, he had the mullet and couldn't have been more German if you tried. But yeah, so I've gone with Uwe for the 90s, just because when I think back to when I was asked the question, that's the first person I thought of.
Love that.
In the noughties, I've gone for Dunny, old teammate of ours. Yeah. Great lad, Dunny. And again, I feel bad for leaving certain players out, but Dunny was the captain for a long period of that time, longevity. Brilliant player, great captain. Didn't say much, Dunny, but when he spoke, you listened. A real stalwart for that sort of period. And then very similar in the 10s for Vincent Kompany, sort of the heartbeat of everything that was successful about the sort of new era when they started winning things. And you know, so obviously he speaks for himself. And then a bit tricky in the 20s because obviously we've only sort of had 4 years in it, and he could have gone for so many players, but I felt bad if Kevin De Bruyne hadn't been in at some point because I think he's been that good. So I went for Kevin De Bruyne. So listen, you can make arguments for dozens of players across those eras, but yeah, that's what looks quite good actually, doesn't it?
It's brilliant. Paul, how do you rate his Mount Rushmore?
It was so difficult to do. I think especially the 10s and the 20s, because we've been so blessed with the players we've had as well. Dunny, of course, I think was it 4 or 5 years in a row.
Player of the year, yeah. Dunny was unbelievable. Like Dunny was, we used to call him Linford Dunn.
Yeah,
because he was that quick. So I always know Dunny as Linford. I remember I was on the bench, we were playing against Liverpool, and Harry Kewell had a couple of metres on him, and Dunny just from nowhere ran around Harry Kewell, and Les Chapman, the famous kit man, said, "Look at Linford Dunn." Yeah. So Linford stuck in it for quite a while.
Probably one of the most underrated players I played with. From outside.
Yeah, not from inside the club, but, you know, any City fan from back then.
And a great lad as well.
Yeah. Right, Paul, let's have a little look at yours. Talk us through Paul's Mount Rushmore.
So I've went Georgie Kinklatze, obviously. Fantastic talent. Could be a little, you know what, at times. Probably a shame that he was in the team that he was in at the time, because he openly admits that he probably should have went and done more, but just a fantastic talent to play with. And at a time where the club was struggling a little bit, and they had that little bit of magic that the fans seemed to love in doing it. And then obviously I can't leave out the GOAT.
Nope.
And there, I had probably my best years at City with the GOAT as my strike partner. And we just seemed to work really well together on and off the pitch. Great lad. And then obviously, I said before, going into the 10s and the 20s, it was so difficult. But David Silva, for me, I think just one of the best players to ever have played for the club. And then the main man, Kevin De Bruyne, for the here and now. But you could have had... I found it so hard to leave Sergio Aguero out. Obviously, Vincent Kompany, Fernandinho.
Yeah, so many.
So difficult to do, but Stick weaves in net, and that's the best five-a-side team I've ever seen.
Not sure about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right, that was both of yours. Let's have a look at mine now. I have done mine, and I'm calling mine Mount Striker, because I'm here for the goal scoring. I figure if you're going to carve, if someone's going to carve themselves into, well, not themselves, into a mountain, it'd be strikers, wouldn't it? It'd be the goal scorers.
You've gone for glory there.
I've gone for absolute and utter glory. They would love this. So
You've got something hot in your mouth, Dick.
Fish. I look like a fish. Look, the gallery could have got a better picture of me than that, couldn't they?
I think
they've done it on purpose.
Could you imagine if you actually got your head carved in a mountain and that was the picture?
I know, you'd be devastated, wouldn't you?
You'd be fuming, yeah.
I'm actually devastated looking at it now.
Well, at 90s...
I'm not. It's a pleasure to be on there and an honour.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you,
welcome. It's
Natalie.
an honour. Look at the way Haaland's looking at you, by the way.
He's looking up to you.
I'd like to meet someone that looks to me the way Haaland's looking at you there, Paul. He loves you there. So 90s, 20s, 90s and 2000s, Paul and Sean, have whatever you want, flip them, but you both had to be in there. You had to be in there. And then, of course, the 10s, I did pick Sergio Aguero, clearly, because I absolutely love him. Him still remains my favourite Manchester City player of all time. So Sergio Aguero. And then, of course, if you're talking about the 20s, it had to be Erling Haaland there, looking up to Paul.
There you go.
So
You've just gone all out goals there.
absolutely
I like that, though.
utter goals. Are you a bit upset nobody picked a keeper?
No, listen, I thought maybe Edison for the 20s, Joe Hart for the 10s. But going back to Dickies and talk about Georgie Kinkladze, as far as talented player, he could have, and you're like Ronaldo, Messi sort of level of talent.
Yeah,
it was so good. But like Dickie says, he probably didn't give it. He should have had so much better career than they did, and it's a bit of a pity really. But he gave the City fans in the mid-90s, which weren't a great time, some magic. I remember a goal, I think it was against Southampton.
It was
Unbelievable.
93, yep.
Not many players in world football at the time could do that.
And at a time,
he was a
the
magician.
City fans didn't have a lot to shout about, so he was sort of like
and he was the hero,
hanging on to getting a bit of success.
Oh, I remember it clear as day, clear as day. And did you hear that he has a winery now? He has his own wine now?
Absolutely, I know that. He's still not sent me some. He said he is going to, but...
I'm sure it'll not take long to get through if he does send you some, Dickie.
Paul's fuming, he's not had some of the King... Is it Kinkladze wine?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's
Amazing.
doing really well, actually.
Yeah, love that. Thank you. So that was our fun Mount Rushmore. Who would you have in yours as well? Have a little think there as well. So we... talk about the FA Cup. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. James McAtee in the third round against Salford, he scored a hat-trick. And so we thought it was only fitting to have a chat with our James this week, catch up with him and reflect on that day.
James McAtee with City's 8th goal and a hat-trick for the youngster.
Obviously now that I've seen the goals and I've seen the clips, yeah, it's a great achievement, but in the moment I didn't think I even thought about the hat-trick. I was just so happy to score my first goal in the Etihad, and then it just kept happening, so yeah, it was a great day.
So this is your first goal, and it was also your first goal at the Etihad?
Yeah, I remember actually before this, I think it was Divine, yeah, he was playing striker and he dropped in, and the centre-backs obviously followed him, so the gap opened up and I was just sprinting for my life in the box and hoping that he didn't catch me up. And Jeremy put a great ball in, and obviously you can see my celebration, it meant a lot to me.
How difficult is that finish?
It's one that you practice quite a lot in training. It's obviously tougher that it's on my weak foot, but I think you just need to get a bit of connection on it and just guide it into the net, so yeah, that's what I did, and luckily he went in.
Foden hits it. Oh, McAtee's there! And City now have 7, and McAtee has his second. In it goes and slid into the net, and it's a hat-trick for James McAtee.
Yeah, it's an amazing achievement. I didn't think I'd ever get one, to be honest, but I'm happy I did, and now I just want more.
What was it like to share the pitch with so many other academy graduates, 4 of you that started that game?
Yeah, obviously I only got to play with Nico and Brico a little bit in the academy, but I've known them for years now, so it was good to be on the pitch with them. Obviously Phil is the guy he is, so it was good to be him as well. And then I think some of the younger lads, I've never obviously shared a pitch with them before, but yeah, I was happy for them, especially with Divine getting his first goal as well. I think everyone's just taking it game by game. No one's really mentioned it, but everyone knows it's a tough month, so everyone's just working hard in training and getting ready for the next game.
He'll never forget the day that he grabbed his first ever match ball for his boyhood club. James McAtee with City's 8th goal and a hat-trick for the youngster.
You can watch through the other two if you want.
I've seen them, don't worry.
That's James McAtee talking, of course, about his hat-trick in the Salford game. He starts today. He'll be hoping to recreate, and of course we will as well, be hoping that he could perhaps go for another FA Cup hat-trick today as well. So 20 minutes now until the 12:15 kick-off in the FA Cup. You can see the team warming up, wearing another lovely warm-up top. Every game at the minute, it seems.
That's the best one, Natalie, because it's got my face all over it.
It's got your face on it?
Well, you can see it in the back there. It's me celebrating in Wembley.
I can see it. Oh, that is the best one, Paul.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I couldn't make it out. Yeah, I can see it now.
Is that your gift now that you'll be giving everyone?
You look better there than on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't really see me there. Yeah.
So, a little bit earlier on, we showed you FG grabbing a selfie with Eddie Hearn. Well, after he got his selfie, because, you know, priorities FG, he also caught up with him, and we can hear from FG, Michael Brown, and Eddie Hearn now.
Yes, welcome back to Matchday Live. As you can see, me and Brownie are joined by a very, very special guest. Mr. Eddie Hearn is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live. Here we are, FA Cup 4th round weekend. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's what dreams are made of, aren't they? I mean, for you guys, I guess the pressure's on a little bit. For us, we're just blagging it. I mean, we can't believe we're here. I think the last time I was here, I was vice chairman of the club, obviously when my dad owned the club. I think it was when we drew with Arsenal in the FA Cup, so watch out. Do you know what I mean? We're coming for you boys today. I know we're up with you next week at the Co-op Live, but today we're enemies, so watch out.
See, he's just dropped that in, isn't he? Do you know that he's come down for a little bit of excitement. But what do you expect from today? I mean, the excitement all around the football club.
I mean, for us, obviously, this is like the dream occasion. You know, playing a Premier League team, playing a team of the size and scope of Manchester City. You know, we don't get days like this. So you'll see the atmosphere will be incredible, and we're on good form. You know, we had a spell where, you know, when we left the club, we nearly got into the Championship. We lost in extra time, and then we got relegated twice out of the Football League. Now they're back playing some great football. I believe at this level it's all about momentum and actually playing as a team. Problem is, when we play against boys like you, sometimes you come unstuck. But that's the magic of the FA Cup. You've got to live the dream, and we're doing that today. So this is our day. Don't spoil it, you know. I remember when we got the replay to Arsenal. Obviously, the replay was at the Emirates, and we got absolutely hammered. It's about 7-1. We nicked all the cutlery, though. It was unbelievable. We had a great day.
He's come down, he's confident, isn't it? You can see, I fancy something to happen today.
Thinking about going in the changing room and trying to just have a little bit of banter with your boys and say, listen, it's not going too well for you at the moment. You lose today, you are banging trouble.
I tell you what, if you could pick a Man City player to join Matchroom and to join the boxing ring, who would you pick?
Definitely Haaland, because actually, when we had a show at the Co-op Live, I went to the training ground. The size of those boys. I mean, Grealish ain't massive, but his legs. I mean,
he's got big calves on his
legs. I was like talking to you. I was going, "Cool, look at those." Yeah. But Haaland, he's a size. I mean, he's a serious athlete.
I mean, let's talk about.
Today?
No, he's not playing today.
He's not here. Yeah,
he's getting ready for the Co-op Live. Actually, it's Catterall main event at the Co-op Live. Really looking forward to it as a boxing fan anyway, but what can people expect?
Well, last time was brilliant, Catterall against Progrès. I mean, it's such a great arena. If you haven't been, you need to go, you know, whether it's next Saturday for the boxing or whether it's in general.
It's a good plug, isn't it? The Manchester City TV, Co-op Live,
exactly,
right next door.
But you boys have got such an incredible... You know, when I went down and I went to the training ground when we were doing the promotion, I can't believe what you guys have built down there. It's very special. I mean, feels incredibly American as well. And next Saturday is a brilliant fight card. Massive fight for Catterall against Barbosa. So everybody in Manchester come down to the Co-op Live and experience another great fight night.
Do you know, he's got some of a little memory that we want to show you, right? It's a little bit of a throwback. We've got to look at his phone to see what this is.
It's done me a little bit dirty. Right, I have a confession,
you won't remember
actually.
It, obviously.
I mean, you won't remember this photo of us looking great.
Wow, gee, blimey. Is that you there?
Yeah, mate.
Look at the glow up of you and me. Unbelievable, especially you.
Look at his hair now, look. He's had a right go for you coming today.
Why have I lost my hair and you've grown a load of hair?
I'm taking it off you, that's why it is. Frampton versus Quigg. Yeah. I saw you ringside, of course, as the players come out, the Leyton Orient players, as you can hear them, and the noise around us. So I saw a little gap, you know, ringside. I was at the MEN at the top, and I thought, you know what, if I slide through there, I'll get a photo with...
Did you stay there, though?
Well, yeah, I got a picture with Frampton as well.
Yeah, but did you stay in those seats all night?
No comment.
So I was going to say, if so, you owe me a few quid. After this interview, stand over there.
Listen, Eddie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. All the best.
Enjoy the game.
All right, let's head back to the studio.
Love that. Thank you so much to Eddie Hearn for chatting to FG and Michael Brown there. FG couldn't wait to get his phone out there, could he?
No, he was saying you've done me dirty as if he didn't want to. His phone was out before he asked the question, I think, wasn't it?
It was in our group yesterday, that picture as well. So thank you. That was lovely to hear from Eddie Hearn there as well. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Matchday Live. Less than 15 minutes now away from today's 12:15 kickoff in the FA Cup. The starting 11 for City is on your screen. Very exciting starting 11. 2 debuts today. So you can see that it's Stefan Ortega and then it is Luis Vitor Hayes. Captain today, Ruben Diaz on his 200th appearance for City. Nico O'Reilly and then Nico. And it's Gundogan, James McAtee, Savinho, Grealish and Omar Marmoush. So that is City's starting 11 for today. Phil Foden is on the bench today as well. And if he comes on, if we see any appearance from him, that will be his 300th Manchester City appearance for somebody that I still think is about 18 years old. So that is City's team for today. Go over to 2 extremely positive guests. But put your head on, not your heart, Nick, put your head on. What sort of game are you expecting today?
Listen, from a Leyton Orient point of view, they've got to stay in the game as long as they can. Richie Wellens spoke about in the interview before, I think they're the highest statistically pressing team in League One. They won't be able to go, because City will just pick them off. So they're going to have to sit in a bit deeper. City are going to control the game possession-wise. We know City have got vulnerabilities at the back in this season. Have Leyton Orient got good enough players to exploit that? We're not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But listen, it's a game that City are going to control. They're going to create chances, and if they take the chances, I expect them to win comfortably.
How do you imagine Vitor Hayes and Nico are feeling right now, about to make their debut for City in the FA Cup?
I'll be super excited. You know, Vitor's been here a few weeks now. I know he's been in the bench, but not been in the team. So to get his chance in the FA Cup, and Nico, it would have been a whirlwind few days for him. You know, the transfer window did go down to the wire as well. You know, he's only been here, 3-4 days now, and when you join a new club, you want to get out on the pitch. You can train as much as you want, but you want to get games under your belt as quick as you can. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. It looks as if he's settled in really well already. And it'll be different for them, because, you know, me and Nicky said before, the FA Cup, away from home, lower league team, there's nothing else like it in world football. So it'll be a great experience for them, but really looking forward to seeing them play and how they settle in.
Do you think Nico knows he's currently wearing Paul Dickov on the back of his top?
He's probably thinking, who's Paul Dickov on that?
You didn't even know it was on there, did you?
Not to begin with, I didn't. But yeah, that's quite cool, that.
He will know soon enough.
Let's see my little face there.
Is it on the front as well?
Yeah.
OK, I need one of these. I need one of these, please.
I'll have a word. I'm sure I can sort one out.
Thanks very much, Paul. That's actually gone straight to the top there. So a little bit earlier this week, we caught up with Fernandinho. Oh, he didn't make anybody's Mount Rushmore. Now I feel really, really guilty. He had a little bit of advice for our new players.
It's important, really important, no? It's a special competition, especially here in UK, and so every time we play that competition, we play so serious and then try to win all the games. And sometimes we can succeed and sometimes not, but it was really nice to play in this competition. I think when you play for City, you know, the most important is put the energy and try to perform the best way possible in every game. So obviously winning the FA Cup match is special because it gives you extra motivation to play the next game. When you keep going, keep winning, the performance is getting better and the motivation is going higher. And yeah, that's it. I think it won't be any surprise for him because there in Brazil there are some teams which they play in the same level as that team, and won't be any surprise. But yeah, if he plays, you know, just play his football and try to put his talent on the pitch and try to do his best job possible. And of course, you know, get some help from the guys, you know, to give some advice for him and to play, you know, free and try to listen as much as possible from all the teammates to play very good football.
Oh, I miss that man so much, so much. Lovely to see there. Fernandinho speaking to Vitor Reis as well, the Brazilian connection that now runs through this club. So you can see the game, it kicks off in less than 10 minutes. The Leyton Orient fans there, 45 places below City. They will be hoping for a cup upset. We will be hoping, of course, for a nice, happy, easy afternoon and some great debuts. So before the game, we're going to head back over to Brisbane Road now to get the final thoughts from FG and Michael Brown.
Yes, welcome back to Leyton Orient as our players take their final run, the final thoughts before the game, Mr. Michael Brown.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's an opportunity for younger players, for players who've not played so many minutes. And with this football club, you've got to perform at the best of your ability. You're always tested. It's one of those, though, when you come to a different place in the FA Cup, you know you've just got to take the result. You can't win at times. You win comfortably. You should do, because it's Leyton Orient. But it's about the performance. The level of detail is going to be important.
No, I mean, a word on the atmosphere as well. We're super close. The fans are really, really close. Even the camera. There's fans right next to the cameraman, Jamie, there as well. This atmosphere is loud. It's sort of an old-fashioned stadium for these players. I mean, how important is it keeping this crowd quiet early on in this side?
They're going to have their opinion. They're going to shout. They're going to get behind the side. It's an exciting day. When that draw comes out and you're hosting Manchester City, you can just see the joy on everyone's faces. They're all at the front here when the players are just doing that last little bit of detail there. They're right on top. They're shouting a few things. And it's magic, isn't it? From young fans growing up, watching the FA Cup and seeing different teams all around the world. So it's a brilliant opportunity. It's great for these fans and for Leyton Orient players to welcome Manchester City.
Yeah, it is indeed. Now, I also saw the away section over there, and everyone is so excited because it's a new stadium for many City fans, and it adds to that atmosphere then, like you said. When we see the draw and everyone saw it's Leyton Orient away, they got super excited, and it's a nice journey for them as well to come to London again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great journey. I did it this morning, so I was on the way with the supporters, but you know, they're looking forward to it. A new ground, something different. You know, it takes all sorts of different games, different stadiums, and it's a great occasion. This is what the FA Cup does to us, and now it's about the team. Get the result, make sure we perform well, and then we'll be celebrating after the game.
Yeah, listen, we're super looking forward to it. So we're going to head back to the studio now, and we're going to go and hopefully watch Manchester City book their place into the next round.
Thank you to FG and to Michael Brown. You know, one of my absolute favourite things about the FA Cup, about when big teams play lower league teams, is I'm hoping we'll get a shot of fans hanging out the windows of those flats in the background.
There will be.
Oh, look at that!
Right on cue.
That wasn't even in my script. That is perfect. So we are really not long now, 6 minutes away from kick-off today, to the most optimistic Blues that I know. Nick, give us a score prediction.
I've gone for 5-0. Hopefully the nil's bit's right, and yeah, if we get one early on, then the floodgates could open. But you've got to earn the right in these games, and it's all about application. So let's hope they do the hard yards first.
I don't know why my stomach jumped when you said that, Paul.
See, I'm going to go one better, and I'm going to go 6. And I don't want to be disrespectful, because obviously Richie and Leyton Orient, wonderful, wonderful day for them. You know, their players might never get the chance to play against this quality opposition again. Hopefully some do. But I just think, looking at the team, the experience that's in there, the attacking quality might just, like Salford. You know, Salford didn't do anything wrong in that game. They ended up losing 8, you know, so I hope it's not 8 for Richie's sake, but I can see us.
I don't think they've got a tunnel club, have they?
No.
While we're looking there.
I'm glad there was no tunnel.
Yes, well, a good day for Richie, and obviously Salford haven't won a game since they played us either, so hopefully it doesn't affect them post the game as well. But everything crossed that the Blues will be into the next round of the FA Cup. 9,000 fans packed out in Brisbane Road today. Shout out to the City fans who must have set off really early to be there for this 12:15 kickoff. You can see the players there coming out now. Kevin De Bruyne on the bench today as well. So, commentary on the Manchester City app. If you're not currently watching there, switch over to there now for Alistair Mann and for Michael Brown. We will all be back here at half-time and at full-time as well. Oh, please, where we are hopefully talking about either Nick or Paul having a right score prediction and City taking their place in the next round of the FA Cup. So enjoy the game, Blues. No giant killings round here.
Well, thank you, Natalie. Yeah, you're right. It's a game that has captured the imagination It's live on television around the world. It's one of the cup ties that has made the FA Cup one of the great competitions in world football. But for City, it is simply just an opportunity to get through into the 5th round of the FA Cup unscathed. Thank you very much indeed. They really are on a genuine hiding to nothing, with a team 2 divisions below them up against them this afternoon. It's a huge day for Leyton Orient, and you can sense the excitement and the expectation. The demand for tickets has been extraordinary, and it is just a day that literally has captured the entire East End of London. But it's one of those ties that may capture the imagination of football fans around the world, but for City, it is one they simply have to negotiate unscathed as they seek to continue their pursuit of a 2nd FA Cup in 3 seasons. While for League One Leyton Orient, they've simply nothing to lose. For City, they're in the unenviable position of making sure that they don't join the list of giants to be slain in the world's most famous knockout cup competition. The hosts are currently in 6th in the 3rd tier, 45 places below the Blues in the league ladder. For them, it is one of the biggest occasions in their history.